Code monkey, get up, get coffee. Code monkey, go to job. Code monkey, have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man. Big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
What's new, Dino Dudes? It's me, the Crypt Raptor, and welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Dino Den with your host, the monstrous movie reviewing media Raptor. Sorry, I like bad Halloween puns. Blame Tales from the Crypt. So, we talked about Freddy vs. Jason last time. How about we talk about the other big crossover movie that happened at literally 1 year later? In fact, the first crossover movie I ever saw, and was also my introduction to two franchises I really love. I'm talking about 2004's Alien vs. Predator. So, some disclosure, this review might be slightly biased, as I did watch this. This was like my first experience with both a horror movie that I can recall actually watching intentionally, first experience with Alien and Predator. So I might be willing to let a couple things slide, and this camera angle is not working. Hang on. Let's give this a try. So, sorry, Alien vs. Predator. I don't know much about the history of this one, but I can imagine this would have been a pretty big deal. The whole idea was actually first teased back in Predator 2 when a xenomorph skull was shown on the Predator ship. This would lead to the amazingly well-written 4-issue miniseries Aliens vs. Predator, which eventually would want to get turned into a movie, lead to sequels, spin-offs of video games, action figures, crossovers with the Terminator, Batman and Superman, Green Lantern, Archie. Yeah, it was kind of a big deal. So, there is one issue with this movie though. It's rated PG-13. And I did mention in the Freddy vs. Jason review, that means it can be kind of limiting for a horror movie. But I frankly do enjoy this movie. It's got a lot of flaws, and I will talk about them, but I actually quite enjoy this movie. So, the writing is surprisingly strong. There is a huge argument to make that why didn't they make the whole movie just about the main woman when she teams up with the Predator at the end? Kind of spoilers, but it's like a 16-year-old movie, so you probably should have seen it by now. I'm older than it. Anyhow, and all that, but let's not talk about what could have been, let's talk about what is. The writing itself is pretty decent. The story is interesting and kind of follows a bit of the original story with a bunch of people discovering an old hunting grounds of the Predator, which it turns out to actually be a training ground for youngbloods. What I mean by that is Predators, this is where they go when they want to be initiated as a full-blooded hunter, which would then allow them to go to other planets and do stuff like you see in Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and The Predator. Okay, not the last one, that one was different, but you know what I mean. It's like a cultural rite of passage for them. And what they have to do is kill a xenomorph, which isn't always as easy as you would think. But of course, people end up down there, so the Predators decide, hey, let's kill them too, and then the aliens get out of hand. So eventually, the main character and the Predator, this one remaining Predator, decide, you know what, we got to team up. That would have made a fantastic movie, but this is still fun at least. I will admit, it takes far too long to finally get to the actual alien and Predator fighting, and even as a young kid I'm like, wait, what's taking it so long? But to the movie's credit, we do have a couple Predator scenes and a few alien scenes where they do kill people, so kinda tides you over, but I can see why some would be disappointed by that. Furthermore, because it's PG-13, they can't be as gory as other films, so a lot of the kills are often shown with it cutting away and blood spattering, or very far back, like with one chestburster scene. However, since it's PG-13, they can get away with a ton of stuff with the alien and the Predator fighting, and those scenes alone make it worth watching the whole movie. Believe me, the fight scenes when the camera isn't shaking like mad are phenomenal. So a lot of the gore in this movie is completely practical, and it is so good. The costumes are fantastic, the acting is pretty decent, but really the main issue is the writing and the pacing. Now, I get it. They made this movie PG-13 probably so they could try and reach a wider demographic, try and get more people to know this franchise. And yeah, I would have preferred to have an R-rated Alien vs. Predator where you could have hard gore on both the humans, aliens, and predators. But the scenes we get with like an alien getting his face sliced off, a predator doing a literal fight club sort of thing with an alien, all sorts of stuff like that, the end chase with all the aliens trying to outrun an explosion, the fight with the alien queen. I know I'm spoiling a lot, but again, 16-year-old movie. Oh, okay, that's nothing important. Whoops. It all makes it worth it. And while the writing is a massive detriment to the movie, the acting's pretty decent. And a lot of the, the character actors for like the Predators and the aliens are phenomenal. They definitely make the Predators extremely intimidating and the aliens extremely terrifying. And part of that is helped immensely by the special effects. The costumes, the sets, the blood, the weapons, the fights, everything looks phenomenal. There are so many times when I feel like I could literally reach out and I would feel this wet, leathery skin of the alien or this thick reptilian hide of the predator, like his arm and stuff. It is clear so much time, passion, and effort went into this movie, and it really shows. So, yeah, the movie is pretty flawed. On terms of quality, I have to give it a 2 Raptor Claws out of 4. And really, I could give it a 3.5 Raptor Claws out of 4 for entertainment because of my childhood love. But in the end, I'm really only going to give it 2.5 Raptor Claws out of 4. But I highly recommend you watch it. This is very much a movie, and I know some people hate this expression because, oh, it's just an excuse to make a bad movie. Well, you check your brain at the door, grab a soda, some popcorn, and have a good time. Really, that's kind of what you need to do. Don't go into this movie expecting perfection. If you want really good stories told with aliens fighting predators, go look up the comics. There are so many stories there that you can read that are genuinely phenomenal. The Predator comics and the Alien comics have been some of the best they've been in years. And it's kind of sad that up until the 2011 video game, which was also fantastic, this was the last Alien vs. Predator thing that people actually considered to be good. And technically speaking, up until Alien Isolation like 2 or 3 years ago, this was the last good property that Alien appeared in that people genuinely liked. Yeah, I'm not over Colonial Marines, but Isolation was pretty darn good. So overall, it's got good action sequences, it's got decent characters, it has a little bit of good humor, but the costumes, the effects, and the action sequences definitely make this movie worth watching. I know still not everyone will agree with me on this, so feel free to talk down below. But until next time, this has been the Crypt Raptor saying keep cool, and I'll see all you dino deads around. Later. Okay, I'll stop with the bad puns now.